The classroom was not like anything on Earth. Its walls glowed with soft blue light as if the whole room was alive and breathing. Strange shapes floated in the air, acting as screens and tools for the alien students. Some children had skin that shimmered like glass. Others had small wings on their backs, and a few had long, thin arms that moved like snakes. They were laughing, talking, and buzzing with energy. But when the human child entered, the room grew silent. His footsteps echoed as he walked to his seat. His shoes made a sound that no other child's feet made. The aliens stared at him with wide eyes, whispering to each other in voices that sounded like music and hisses at the same time. He felt the heavy weight of their eyes. He knew he was different. He was the only human in this school. The boy lowered his head and sat down quietly. His heart was beating faster than normal. He had seen this look many times, the look of fear, the look of suspicion. The alien children were curious, but they did not trust him. In their stories, humans were called strange, dangerous, a race that never fit in with others. The boy wanted to disappear. But instead, he slowly opened his small backpack. He searched inside, pretending not to notice the eyes on him. His fingers touched something soft and familiar, something from home, something sweet. He pulled out a small, shiny object wrapped in red and gold, a candy. The sound of the wrapper crinkling filled the silent room. The alien children froze, their colorful eyes following the movement of his hands. The smell spread, a smell they had never known. It was sugary, warm, and gentle. The boy placed the candy in his palm, staring at it for a moment. On Earth, it was nothing special. Just a sweet treat his mother used to give him when he felt lonely. But here, in this place, it looked like treasure. He unwrapped it slowly. The paper made a sharp sound that echoed in the glowing room. The candy shone under the strange alien light, its surface smooth and bright. He put it in his mouth, and for a second his face relaxed. The taste of Earth filled him with comfort. It was home, family, safety. But the aliens were staring harder now. One of them, a small boy with green skin and glowing spots on his forehead, leaned closer. His eyes were wide, filled with both fear and desire. "What is that?" he whispered, his voice shaking. The human looked at him. His throat felt dry, but he managed to answer. "It's candy, sweet, from Earth." The alien boy tilted his head, confused. The word sweet was not one they used. Still, the smell was too strong to ignore. More alien children gathered around, curious but careful. Their wings fluttered, their arms twitched. They wanted to know, but they were afraid. The human child looked at them. For the first time, he did not see anger in their eyes. He saw hunger. Not hunger for food, but hunger for something different, something new. He held out the candy. "You want to try?" The class went silent. No one moved. Even the teacher standing at the front stopped writing symbols in the air. The alien children looked at one another nervously. To them, eating something from another world was dangerous. What if it poisoned them? What if it was a trick? The human's hand trembled a little, but he kept it outstretched. His voice was soft, almost pleading. "It won't hurt you, just taste it." Finally, the green-skinned boy stepped forward. His legs shook as he reached out his long fingers and picked up the small candy. He stared at it, turning it in his hand, unsure of what to do. Then slowly, he placed it in his mouth. The room held its breath. The alien chewed carefully. His face was tense at first, his eyes squeezed shut. Then something changed. His eyes flew open, glowing brighter. His mouth curved into a shape the human child recognized instantly. A smile. The other alien children gasped. Some whispered. Others leaned closer. The green-skinned boy laughed suddenly, a laugh so pure and surprised that even the teacher raised an eyebrow. "What is this feeling?" The alien boy cried out. "It is like stars in my mouth. It is like light but soft. It is beautiful." The human boy smiled for the first time that day. He had shared his world, and for a moment the walls between them began to crack. But deep inside he wondered what would happen now. Would this simple act of sharing a candy change everything, or would it bring trouble he could not imagine? The classroom buzzed with whispers, eyes turning, wings flapping. The alien children could not forget the taste or the kindness. But somewhere beyond the glowing walls in the heart of their society, powerful eyes were watching. Eyes that did not smile at humans. Eyes that believed humans should remain strangers. And so, with one small piece of candy, a story began that no one would ever forget. The alien boy with green skin was still chewing, his glowing spots flickering with excitement. His laughter echoed through the strange classroom, bouncing off the living walls. The other alien children could not look away. Their eyes followed his every movement, waiting to see if he would collapse, grow sick, or maybe even change shape. But nothing bad happened. He only laughed louder, his voice bright like chimes. "This is amazing," the green boy shouted, pointing at the human. "He has brought us joy." The human boy lowered his eyes shyly. His hand still trembled from offering the candy. He had not expected this reaction. On Earth, candy was ordinary. Here it was magic. The alien children began whispering faster, their voices blending into a strange musical buzz. Some of them leaned closer, their wings twitching with curiosity. Others stayed back, afraid of the unknown. One alien girl with purple skin and silver hair stepped forward. She had large golden eyes that blinked slowly, like a cat watching prey. "Is it safe for all of us?" she asked in a soft, careful tone. The human boy nodded. "It is safe. On Earth, children eat it every day. My mother gave me these candies before I left. They remind me of home." His voice cracked slightly on the word home. The aliens noticed, though they did not understand the deep weight behind that word. The purple-skinned girl tilted her head. "Then can I try too?" He reached into his bag and pulled out another piece, its red and gold wrapper shining under the alien light. He placed it in her hand. She unwrapped it carefully like a treasure. The sweet smell floated out, making more alien children shuffle closer, their eyes wide. She placed the candy on her tongue. Her golden eyes widened instantly and her wings spread open in surprise. She gave a sharp gasp. "It tastes like light!" "Like liquid stars." She stopped, unable to find the right words. Then she laughed, a sound that rang like bells. "It is beautiful." The classroom burst into noise. Children pressed forward, their arms stretching, their fingers waving. Me next." They shouted in voices that hissed, chirped, or sang. The human boy laughed nervously, pulling out more candies from his bag. He handed them one by one, watching as each alien child experienced sweetness for the first time. Some danced in circles, others clapped, and one even began singing loudly. For the first time, the human boy felt something warm in his chest. Acceptance. The teacher at the front of the room said nothing. The tall figure with blue, glass-like skin only watched. Their glowing eyes shifted from the human to the laughing alien children. Their expression was unreadable, but they did not stop the sharing. Soon the bag was nearly empty. Only a few candies remained. The human held one in his hand, staring at it. Should he save it for himself? For later, when loneliness returned? Or should he give it away? Before he could decide, a small alien child stepped forward. This one was different, tiny, with thin arms and pale skin that shimmered like water. The child had stayed quiet the entire time, hiding behind others. Now, with a trembling voice, they whispered, "Please, may I taste?" The human bent down, smiling softly. He gave the last piece in his hand to the little one. The alien child's eyes watered as they tasted it, their body glowing faintly as if the candy lit something inside. They whispered, "Thank you." Those two words struck the human boy deeply. He nodded, his throat too tight to answer. The classroom was alive with laughter now, but not everyone was happy. Outside the glowing walls, a shadow moved past the door. A tall alien figure with sharp eyes had been watching. They disappeared quickly, leaving behind only silence and suspicion. The human child did not notice. For the first time in this alien world, he felt less alone. The alien children crowded around him, asking questions all at once. What is Earth like? Do humans all eat this food? Why did you share it with us? He tried his best to answer. He told them about Earth festivals where candy was given to children in bright paper. He told them about birthdays where sweet cakes were cut and shared. He told them about his mother, who always said, "Sharing makes friends." The alien children listened with wide eyes, their imaginations painting pictures of a world they had never seen. A world filled with laughter, color, and sweetness. But beneath the laughter, a quiet tension grew. Some of the alien children whispered, "What if the elders find out? What if humans are not supposed to give us their food?" The human boy heard them, and for a moment his smile faded. Was he making a mistake? The purple-skinned girl touched his shoulder gently. "Do not be afraid," she said. "We will not forget this. You gave us something no one else has. We are your friends now." Her words gave him strength. He nodded slowly, a small smile returning to his lips. But far away in the halls of alien authority, voices were already rising. A report had been sent. The human child has given strange food to our young. It has changed them. We must decide what to do. The classroom, filled with joy, did not hear those cold words, for now there was only laughter, and the sound of new friendship being born. And in the center of it all, one human child sat quietly, unaware that his small act of kindness had just shaken the foundation of two worlds. The alien classroom was no longer silent. Where once there had been only whispers and suspicious eyes, now there was laughter, movement, and questions. The human child sat in the center of it all, his small bag of candy nearly empty, but his heart strangely full. For the first time since arriving in this strange school, he did not feel like an intruder. He felt like a boy among friends. The alien children crowded around him, their shapes and colors forming a dazzling circle. A child with 4 arms clapped all at once, giggling. Another, with crystal-like skin, leaned forward, her body catching the light in bright reflections. Their voices overlapped, creating a chorus of curiosity. Tell us about your world. Do humans all smile like you? Why do you give us your food instead of keeping it? The boy blinked, overwhelmed but happy. He took a deep breath. On Earth we share. My mother always said that sharing makes friends. She told me, candy is sweeter when someone else tastes it too. The alien children tilted their heads, processing his words. For them, food was survival, a resource guarded and controlled. The idea of giving away something precious just to make someone smile was strange. And yet, when they looked at the human boy's face, they understood. One alien girl with silver hair and golden eyes raised her hand politely. What else do humans share? The boy smiled. Stories, songs, games, even dreams. He began to tell them about Earth festivals where streets glowed with lights and children ran around with candy in their pockets. He spoke of birthdays when friends sang and cakes were cut, each slice passed to another smiling face. He described summer days when laughter filled the air and no one ate alone. The alien children listened in silence, their imaginations painting pictures of a world they had never seen. Some of them closed their eyes, swaying as if they could almost feel it. For them, such joy was rare. Their society was built on order, discipline, and survival. Happiness was not forbidden, but it was not common either. And yet, here it was, pouring out of the voice of a small human child. The green-skinned boy, the first to taste the candy, slapped his glowing forehead in excitement. We must taste more things from Earth. Maybe humans have other treasures like this candy. The children cheered, their voices echoing like a storm. But in the corner, the teacher remained quiet. Their glass-like skin shimmered faintly as they watched, their glowing eyes unreadable. They did not stop the children. They did not scold the human. But a shadow crossed their face like a thought too heavy to share. The laughter continued. Alien wings fluttered, crystal bodies gleamed, tentacles swayed. The classroom was alive in a way it had never been before, and yet beneath the joy a small thread of tension wove itself. One child, taller than the rest, spoke with hesitation. But what if the elders find out? What if they say humans are dangerous? The voices quieted for a moment. The words hung in the glowing air. The human child's smile faded slightly. He remembered the stories he had overheard. He knew many aliens did not trust humans. They said humans were too emotional, too unpredictable, too hungry for change. Sharing candy was small, but what if they saw it as something bigger? The purple-skinned girl touched his shoulder gently. Her golden eyes softened. Do not be afraid, she whispered. We will not forget what you gave us. You are not alone anymore. The boy looked at her and the warmth returned to his chest. He nodded, though doubt still flickered in his heart. The rest of the day passed in strange wonder. The alien children asked endless questions, eager to hear about Earth foods, games, and holidays. Some even tried to copy human laughter, their voices strange but sincere. The boy laughed with them, teaching them clapping games, simple songs, and even silly jokes for the first time. Two worlds were touching, not through war, not through politics, but through the innocent sharing of a child. Yet, outside the classroom, rumors had already begun to spread. A guard who had seen the candy whispered to a commander. The commander whispered to a council, and the council began to murmur about the human child. He is giving our young strange food. He is teaching them dangerous ways. What if he changes them? The elders spoke with cold voices. Change to them was a threat. And nothing was more dangerous than a new idea spreading among children. Back in the classroom, the human child laughed with his new friends. unaware of the storm gathering beyond the walls. He did not know that every smile he created was another reason for the elders to fear him. As the final lesson ended, the teacher dismissed the class. The alien children crowded around the human, promising to meet him the next day, asking him to bring more stories, more games, maybe even more candy. The boy smiled, nodding. "I'll try." When he walked home, his bag light and his heart heavy, he whispered to himself, Maybe I can belong here." But as he turned the corner, a pair of cold, glowing eyes followed him from the shadows, watching, measuring, deciding. The bond had grown, yes, but bonds can be tested, and the greatest test was yet to come. The next morning, the classroom was buzzing with excitement. The alien children rushed to their seats, their wings fluttering and their glowing eyes searching for one boy, the human child. They whispered about candy, about laughter, about stories from Earth. For them, school had changed. It was no longer a place of silence and rules. It had become a place of wonder. When the human entered carrying his small backpack, the children cheered softly. Some waved. Some clapped their many hands. His cheeks turned red, but a shy smile spread across his face. He sat down, feeling the warmth of acceptance. But not everyone was smiling. Near the back of the room, a tall elder had entered silently. His skin was rough and dark like stone, and his glowing eyes were sharp, filled with suspicion. He was not a teacher. He was a watcher, sent by the council to observe. The children noticed him but dared not speak. Even the teacher stood straighter, their glass-like skin reflecting nervous light. The lesson began, but the children's minds were not on symbols or numbers. They kept glancing at the human boy, waiting for him to open his bag, waiting for the magic. At last, he pulled out another candy, its wrapper shining like treasure. The children gasped in delight. But before he could share, the elder's voice cut through the room. "Stop." The word echoed like thunder. All movement froze. The candy remained in the boy's hand, trembling slightly. The elder stepped forward, his heavy footsteps shaking the glowing floor. His eyes scanned the children, then fixed on the human. "What are you doing?" The boy's throat tightened. He tried to answer, but his voice was small. I was just sharing." The elder's voice grew harsher. "Sharing? You bring unknown things from a dangerous world. You give them to our young. Do you wish to poison them?" Gasps filled the room. The alien children shook their heads, wings flapping nervously. The green-skinned boy stepped forward, his glowing spots bright with courage. "It is not poison, it is joy. It makes us laugh, it makes us—" "Silence!" the elder barked. The green boy shrank back, trembling. The human boy's eyes filled with fear. His hand closed around the candy, hiding it. He felt shame, though he had done nothing wrong. He looked at the floor, wishing it would swallow him whole. The elder turned slowly, his gaze sweeping across the children. His voice lowered, heavy with warning. "Do not trust humans. They bring change, and change is dangerous. They give gifts, but those gifts carry shadows. Remember this. A smile today can become sorrow tomorrow." The words sank into the room like cold water. The children's excitement dimmed. Some lowered their heads. Some folded their wings. Doubt crept into their eyes. The human boy felt the warmth in his chest flicker and fade. The candy in his hand suddenly seemed heavier, like a forbidden object. He wanted to throw it away, to pretend it never existed. The elder gave one final look at the boy and then left the classroom. The air he left behind was heavy, thick with silence. For the rest of the lesson, no one laughed. No one asked questions. The children sat quietly, though their eyes kept sneaking back to the human, filled with conflict. When the lesson ended, the boy stood to leave. His backpack felt empty, though candy still rested inside. His steps were slow, heavy. He whispered to himself, "Maybe I should stop. Maybe they will hate me now." But as he walked through the glowing corridor, a small voice called after him, "Wait." He turned. It was the purple-skinned girl with golden eyes. She ran to him, her silver hair shimmering. Behind her came the green-skinned boy and the little pale child who had whispered thank you before. The girl placed her hand on his arm. Her golden eyes burned with quiet fire. "Do not listen to the elder. What you gave us, it was not poison. It was kindness, we felt it. We will not forget." The green-skinned boy nodded firmly. "They are afraid of what they do not understand. But we are not afraid." The human's heart lifted a little. He looked at his friends, their faces glowing with loyalty, and his eyes stung with unshed tears. Still, he could not ignore the shadow of the elder's words. "What if I cause trouble for you?" he whispered. The little pale child stepped forward, their voice soft but steady. "Then we will share the trouble together. That is what friends do." The human boy stared at them, and for the first time that day he smiled. His fingers touched the candy still hidden in his pocket. Perhaps he should keep it for later, or perhaps when the right moment came, he would share again. Unseen by them, beyond the glowing walls, the council had already begun its debate. To them, the boy was not a child. He was a spark, small but dangerous, and sparks, if left alone, could become fire. But inside that classroom, among a circle of alien children, the spark was already growing into something brighter, something stronger, something no elder warning could erase. Days passed, and the shadow of the elder's warning still lingered in the classroom. The alien children whispered less, laughed less, and often looked over their shoulders when they gathered around the human boy. But even with fear hanging in the air, their curiosity never faded. They could not forget the taste of candy, nor the warmth of his stories, nor the way their hearts had felt lighter when he shared. One morning, the purple-skinned girl leaned close to him and whispered, "There will be a school festival tomorrow. A day of games, music, and celebration. Come with us." The human boy hesitated. "Will I be welcome there?" She smiled gently, her golden eyes glowing. "With us, yes, and bring more candy if you can." That evening he sat on his bed staring at his backpack. Inside were only a handful of candies left. He touched the shiny wrappers one by one, hearing his mother's voice echo in his memory. Sharing makes friends. A small smile crept onto his lips. He would bring them all. The next day, the alien school was transformed. Bright colors floated in the air like ribbons of light. Strange music hummed from crystal towers. Children of every shape and size danced, sang, and played games across the glowing courtyard. The air buzzed with joy, but beneath it was the watchful presence of guards, tall and stern, their eyes scanning for trouble. The human walked slowly, clutching his bag. Whispers followed him, but so did friendly waves. The alien children he had shared candy with ran to him, pulling him into their circle. Their laughter rang like bells. "Did you bring them?" the green-skinned boy asked eagerly, his glowing spots flashing bright. The human nodded shyly. Yes. He opened his bag and gasps filled the air. Dozens of shiny red and gold candies glimmered in the strange light. To the alien children, it looked like treasure beyond measure. One by one, he handed them out. The wrappers crinkled, the sweet smell spread, and soon the courtyard was filled with laughter as the children tasted joy once more. Some danced wildly, others clapped, and even the shy ones smiled with glowing faces. For a moment it felt perfect. But then the air shifted. Heavy footsteps echoed. The guards had seen. 3 tall figures marched into the courtyard, their armor glowing faintly. Their sharp eyes locked on the human boy. The laughter of the children died instantly, replaced by gasps of fear. The tallest guard stepped forward. His voice was cold. "What is happening here?" No one spoke. The children huddled around the human protectively. The candy in their hands gleamed like forbidden jewels. The guard's gaze narrowed. "Human, step forward." The boy froze. His knees trembled. His mouth went dry. Slowly he stepped out from the circle, clutching the straps of his bag. The guard pointed at him. "What is in your hand?" The boy swallowed hard. He held out a candy, his hand shaking. "It's just sweet, from Earth." The guard snatched it, turning it over in his palm as if it were a weapon. He sneered. "This is how it begins. Small things, harmless things, and then change." The alien children cried out. "No!" shouted the green-skinned boy. "It is not dangerous. It brings happiness." The guard silenced him with a glare. "Happiness is not our law. Order is." The human boy felt tears sting his eyes. He wanted to speak, to defend himself, but his voice caught in his throat. The circle of children tightened around him, their small bodies forming a shield. Then, to everyone's shock, the guard unwrapped the candy. His cold fingers crinkled the paper and the sweet smell floated out. Without another word, he placed it in his mouth. The courtyard froze. The children held their breath. The teachers stared. Even the music from the crystal towers seemed to fade. The guard's face was stern at first. His jaw worked slowly as he chewed. Then something changed. His eyes flickered. His lips parted slightly. And then, against his will, a smile spread across his face. The children gasped. Some cheered. Others laughed nervously. The guard's smile faltered, but it was too late. The sweetness had reached him. For the first time in years, his face had softened. He looked at the human boy, confusion in his eyes. "This is strange," the human whispered. "It's not poison. It's kindness." Silence followed. The other guards shifted uneasily, unsure how to respond. The children's courage grew, their voices rising in defense of their friend. "See? It is safe. He gave it to us because he cares. He is one of us now." The tallest guard's smile faded into a scowl, but he did not strike. Instead, he turned sharply and walked away, his cloak swirling behind him. The other guards followed, but their eyes lingered on the candy wrappers scattered across the ground. The children erupted in cheers. They lifted the human boy on their shoulders, laughing, chanting, their wings fluttering wildly. But in the distance, unseen above the glowing towers, the elder council watched. Their voices were cold as stone. "The child is dangerous. He changes hearts with small things. If we do not act, he will change everything." And so, while the festival rang with joy, a silent storm gathered once more. The festival should have ended with joy. The alien children still laughed, their hands sticky with sweet wrappers, their glowing eyes full of wonder. They lifted the human boy, cheering, calling him their friend. But the shadow of the guards lingered. Everyone had seen the moment when the tallest guard tasted the candy and smiled. That single smile became a whisper across the school, then a whisper across the city. The human gave sweetness. The guard could not resist. The guard smiled. For a society where smiles were rare, it was like fire spreading through dry grass. The next day, the human walked into the classroom with heavy steps. He feared punishment. He feared the council's anger. His bag was lighter now, only a few candies left. He wondered if he should hide them or throw them away. But when he entered, the alien children greeted him with bright faces. The green-skinned boy ran forward. "You saw it, didn't you?" Even the guard could not resist. The purple-skinned girl nodded, her golden eyes glowing. "Your candy. It is not just food. It is a gift. It changes everything." The human smiled weakly, but fear gnawed at him. What if it changes too much? What if the elders punish us? Before anyone could answer, the door opened. 2 guards stepped in, their armor glowing faintly. The children froze, their wings folding tight. But the guards did not shout. Instead, one of them spoke in a deep voice. "The council wishes to see the human." Gasps filled the room. The boy's chest tightened. His small fingers clutched the straps of his bag. He thought of running, but where could he go? The guards' eyes softened slightly. Perhaps they too had heard whispers of sweetness. Slowly, the human followed them. The council chamber was vast, glowing with shifting patterns of light. Elders sat in high chairs, their skin etched with lines of wisdom and fear. Their glowing eyes burned into the boy, measuring him. On the floor, scattered reports told of alien children laughing, of guards smiling, of rules bending. The eldest elder leaned forward. His voice was heavy like stone grinding. "Human child, you gave our young something unknown. Why?" The boy's voice trembled, but he spoke with honesty. "Because I was lonely. Because candy makes me happy. And because sharing makes friends." Murmurs rippled across the chamber. Some elders frowned. Others looked unsettled. Another elder hissed, "Your sweetness is a trick. Change begins with small things. Today it is candy. Tomorrow rebellion." The boy's eyes filled with tears. "It is not a trick. It is only kindness." At that moment, a guard stepped forward, the same tall guard who had tasted the candy at the festival. His stern face was remembered by all. The chamber grew silent as he raised his hand. In it was a red and gold wrapper. "I ate the human's gift," he said slowly, and I smiled. I had not smiled in years. "Is this poison?" "If it is, then poison has healed me." The council erupted in shocked whispers. The boy stared, hardly believing. Another elder demanded, "And what did you feel, guard? Tell us truth." The guard's glowing eyes softened. "I felt light. I felt as if I were young again. I remembered playing as a child before the weight of duty pressed upon me. If this is danger, then perhaps we need more of it." The chamber was divided. Some elders scowled, warning of collapse. Others sat in silence, remembering their own lost joy. Finally, the eldest elder raised a hand for silence. His eyes glowed brighter, locking on the boy. Then slowly he extended his hand. The boy's heart raced. With trembling fingers, he reached into his bag and pulled out one last candy. He placed it in the elder's hand. The entire chamber watched as the elder unwrapped it. The crinkle echoed like thunder. He placed it in his mouth. His jaw moved slowly, his face cold as stone. Then, something changed. His eyes widened. His breath caught. For a moment, his ancient face softened. His lips parted slightly, and then, unbelievably, he smiled. Gasps filled the chamber. The eldest elder's voice trembled, but it was no longer harsh. This is peace. This is something we have forgotten. The children who had followed the boy into the chamber cheered quietly, tears glowing in their alien eyes. The guards shifted uneasily, but some could not hide their own smiles. The human boy stood frozen. He had expected punishment, but instead, he had given joy to the highest elder. His small act had pierced the coldest heart. But even in that moment of wonder, a shadow remained. Not all the elders smiled. Some whispered darkly among themselves. If candy could do this, what else could humans bring? If one child could bend the council, what will happen when more humans come? The human boy did not hear those whispers. He only saw the elder's rare smile. His mother's voice echoed again in his mind. Sharing makes friends. For the first time, he believed it might be true, even among the stars. Years passed. The small classroom where it had all begun now seemed like a dream. The glowing walls, the nervous whispers, the trembling hand offering candy. It had become a story told again and again, passed from one alien child to another. The human boy was no longer a child. He had grown taller, stronger, his voice deeper, but even as time carried him forward, one memory stayed sharp. The day he had opened his bag, unwrapped a piece of candy, and shared it. For the alien children, that day was more than memory. It was legend. They never forgot the taste of the sweet. Not because it was delicious, but because it was the first time they felt something new. Friendship without fear. They spoke of it in hushed tones, then in louder voices until the whole school knew, until the city whispered, until the stars themselves seemed to carry the tale. The human child gave us his candy, they said, and with it he gave us joy. The council could not silence it. The elders who had frowned, who had warned of danger, found their own people asking questions they could not answer. Why was laughter dangerous? Why was kindness a threat? If one human child could make even the eldest elder smile, then perhaps humans were not enemies at all. Slowly, carefully, things began to change. The alien children grew older. They remembered the taste, but more than that, they remembered the feeling, the warmth of sharing, the power of small kindness. They carried it into their lives, into their families, into their duties. Some became teachers, telling their students about the boy who had given without fear. Others became leaders, speaking in councils about a new way of living. One by one, doors that had been locked for centuries began to open. Trade with humans became possible. Dialogue replaced silence. Suspicion gave way to cautious curiosity. And all of it traced back to a single moment. A boy with trembling hands holding out candy to a child with glowing spots. But not all hearts changed. Some still whispered in the shadows, "Beware humans. They bring fire. They bring change." They remembered the elder's warning. A smile today can become sorrow tomorrow. These voices did not vanish. They waited, watching, cautious of the new bond forming, yet the bond held strong. Because it had been born not from politics, not from power, but from something simple, something pure. The human boy, now a young man, would walk through the alien city and hear children laugh as they played games he had taught them. He would see sweets sold in markets, not from Earth, but crafted by alien hands trying to copy the taste. He would hear songs that mixed human melodies with alien rhythms. Sometimes he would stop and smile. All this on from one piece of candy. One day, as he stood at the edge of a great hall, he listened to a speech. It was the green-skinned boy, no longer small but grown tall, his glowing spots bright with pride. He spoke to a crowd of both humans and aliens. "I was the first to taste the candy," he declared, "and I tell you this, it was not sugar that changed me. It was kindness. It was courage. It was the proof that friendship can begin with the smallest gift." The crowd cheered, their voices echoing like thunder. The human young man felt his throat tighten. He remembered his mother's words once more. Sharing makes friends. He had not understood the weight of those words as a child. Now he knew. They were not just about candy. They were about life. The aliens would never forget. Even those who never tasted the sweet still felt the ripples of its story. For them, it became a symbol. A reminder that peace did not always arrive in grand ships or with powerful leaders. Sometimes peace arrived in the hands of a lonely child wrapped in red and gold. And so the legend grew. Across stars, across generations, children told their children, and their children told theirs. They said once a human child came among us. We did not trust him. We feared him. But he opened his hand and gave us his candy. And from that moment we were never the same. Some called it the sweet beginning. Others called it the first sharing. But all agreed. It was the day two worlds began to walk a new path together. And though dangers would still come, though shadows would still rise, the memory of that single act of kindness burned brighter than fear. The human child had grown, but his legacy remained. And whenever someone asked how peace first began, the answer was always the same. The human child shared his candy and the alien kids never forgot.